What's going on, Empire Builders? I'm here today with Shash Singh. He is a member of the Laptop Empire Lab community, and I am super excited to have him on today. Shash has been a freelancer and marketer for more than 5 years now, so I think a lot of his experiences and what he's been through will really benefit you guys watching today. Shash, what's going on, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, you and I talked before I hit record about where you're from, but why don't you just tell everyone so they can kind of get a sense of where you're at in the world?
So I'm in Toronto, Canada. This is where I spend most of my time. I'm also in other like Latin America a few months of the year, usually in the winter, but Toronto's my home base for now.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for carving out a couple minutes to chat with us today. I got, a really great summary from you about, a little bit of the history of your business and how you kind of went from partnering with people to working with different individuals and freelancing, kind of all these different stepping stones that I know a lot of us can relate to, where we kind of bounce around until we find our place. A lot of us still are. So why don't you just, in your own words, kind of describe, how you kind of got started in this game and in marketing to begin with?
Okay, so it's a very long story, but basically I got started out in SEO and I kind of stumbled on it because I had a buddy who wanted me to. I'm sure you remember the ages ago when there were PBNs and such, like private blog networks.
Right.
So I had a buddy who wanted me to kind of help him with that, and he was giving me kind of a split of his profit, and I actually made like a decent amount of money for a college kid from that. So I kind of got into SEO from that. Basically got deeper into basically ranking websites and doing it for clients. And I also had a business partner that I did web design with. So he did the web design, I did the SEO, and I also did the client generation. From there, I moved into lead generation through SEO, so kind of like generating leads for home service companies. And yeah, so I still have a couple of websites from that that experiment. I definitely did a lot of things wrong with that, but I still have like a nice little side asset just from that. And then I stumbled into doing paid traffic. Basically, I had a buddy, he runs a fitness company called Body, and I was helping him out initially with a bit of SEO, but then he wanted me to do his YouTube ads campaign and basically...
Is that Greg Gallagher, by the way?
Yeah.
Dude, that is the weirdest thing. I don't follow a lot of people on Instagram, but he is one of the few people I follow, and I see his... I'm trying to just swipe through here real quick to see if I can't pull up something. I'm sure you follow him too, but
yeah.
Anyways, I can't see it here. But yeah, that's hilarious, man. Awesome. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, and he basically had me manage his YouTube ads campaign, help him out with his, he has a marketing team, so he basically had me help them out. And yeah, the YouTube ad stuff was really, really a lot of fun because we basically just were able to go crazy on that and managed, 6 figures in ad spend, make like a very healthy profit. And it kind of made me realize that SEO is not as fun because you have to wait so long for results, and it's kind of a patient waiting game, and I'm not that good at being the patient waiting type. So I kind of realized that, okay, my personality is more tuned towards paid traffic because I can get results from my clients faster. And
right.
Yeah, so basically from there, what I did is I started working with a bunch of other clients. I basically got into Facebook ads, got into funnel optimization, a little bit into copywriting, a little bit into email marketing. So it was like a very wide kind of number of things that I was doing for like at least like a year and a half, where I just really just got a lot of experience. And I wasn't really doing things very intelligently, but the one good thing I was doing was just getting a lot of experience and basically honing my skills. And yeah, basically a few months ago, I realized that, okay, like this whole, me freelancing for hourly thing is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm barely like making what I'm worth with that. So I kind of started switching to fixed rates, and immediately my income started increasing. And then I stumbled on your kind of your website and your Laptop Empire Lab. And I also had a good friend of mine, his name is Ryan. He basically runs an e-commerce email agency, and he basically showed me some of his kind of processes that he uses to scale it. He scaled it to like 10K plus a month in profit. So
wow.
I basically the whole world was telling me, okay, you got to like start moving towards monthly retainers. You got to start moving towards, focusing on a couple of different services that are really, really going to make your money that can be systemized, that you can, kind of scale up with, instead of just trying to do everything, which is fine for a while because you learn a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Some might disagree, but I think that you should have a deep understanding of what services you're going to be offering to clients. So you not only can make sure that it's going well and you hold your subs accountable, but that you also hire the right subs and you can tell them what to do. There are a lot of white label agencies out there, which is awesome, but I've always been more of the person who wants to understand it on a technical side. So yeah, I can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's like a very important thing. It's just that you can't just, everybody talks about, hey, quit your job, start an agency in like a few months, but it's I would say that it probably takes a little bit longer, and you really want to kind of maybe work with somebody who knows what they're doing. Maybe go work with a company that's already doing well, and just kind of learn on their dime,
Right.
and then you can start doing your own thing, because it's when you do that, at least you can you're going to get your result, like your clients' great results, which I
Yeah.
think is very important.
Yeah. So I like you talked about full-time job for a second. Talk about that for a minute. Did you have a full-time job before you were doing this? Are you doing this full-time now? What kind of, explain that to me a little bit.
So I didn't have a full-time job. The closest thing I had to a full-time job was basically working with Greg. And yeah, so, and then after that, the freelancing was kind of my full-time job, but it was like between a bunch of different clients. So it was just, so I've never really had like a full-time, like go into the office and work in the office kind of thing.
Right.
The closest thing was basically, having just one client that I worked with all the time. And even with that, it wasn't like, I had to wake up at 8 a.m. every day or anything like that. It was just
Yeah.
pretty much work whenever.
That's awesome. So you realized from obviously a pretty young age, you wanted to be a business owner, you wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, I realized, because it's just, I don't like the winters here in Canada. I know that's a horrible reason to make, big life decisions, but that was like one reason why I don't think I could ever do like a 9 to 5. And B, it's just like you make more money if you do your own thing.
Yeah.
If you're smart with it, like if you put in the time, if you put in the effort, you definitely basically can make a very good income just working for yourself, or maybe starting your agency, expanding into all kinds of stuff like FBA, drop shipping, etc.
Yeah, and I'm in that process right now, obviously, with transitioning from one-on-one work to doing more membership style stuff and that recurring income that's not as unpredictable as one-on-one work. And yeah, you and I are, a lot alike in that I've personally never had a full-time job either. The closest thing I had to a full-time job was going to college and working 2 part-time jobs. I'm sure I've shared this story in different places, but I was delivering pizzas and I was a tour guide while I was in college and learning everything I needed to figure out how to build my own business, trying to do it through all those years. And when it finally got to a point where, hey, I can do this full time, I was able to leave everything else behind. So yeah, it wasn't like, a lot of people think like there's this moment in time, like I'm going to quit my job or I'm going to quit everything I'm doing and focus on this. It's like, don't do that. You're going to, you're going to sacrifice the dream because there's a high chance that it won't work out. You have to build up to that point, side hustle, and then, make it a reality down the road. Don't think it's going to happen when you just launch it in a day.
Yeah, and I will also add on to that is one thing that I've learned about myself is that, each one of us has a different personality. So there are some people who maybe once they're pushed against the wall, they hustle and they do really well. But there are other people who are perhaps, when you put too much stress on them, their performance goes down. I'm in the latter category. So I kind of see that, hey, I can't really be the guy who's just like back to the wall. I have to be smart about the way I do things. So I basically do it in a manner where I keep my stress levels lower. Otherwise, it's just my performance just goes down. Like I don't think clearly if I feel like, oh, I have this debt, I have this, credit card debt, etc. I have been in credit card debt in the past, and it's just it like I was an irresponsible kid, right? And it kind of messes with your brain and it hurts your clarity. So once I got rid of that, and basically got rid of it very recently, my brain is just a lot clearer and I can just make moves on a longer term scale.
Yeah. Yeah. That self-awareness is key. And I love what you also just said right there about making decisions for the long term. I can't count how many times a day I tell myself that or someone else that. It's like I'm making these decisions for the long game. Like I have a new client, he's a marketer potentially. And I said to him, like, listen, I'm more interested in the long-term relationship with you than any, upfront work we might do together right now. So yeah, I agree. You'll learn a lot about yourself through entrepreneurship, and part of that that self-awareness is understanding the long game is more important than any immediate return you could get, because that doesn't last.
Mm-hmm. Agreed,
So
100%.
yeah. So tell me what you're focused on right now. I know you said you want to get 3 to 4 retainer clients, right? Is that your main focus right now?
Yeah, so right now, basically, I do have a bunch of clients that I've been working with on and off, but it's either mostly fixed kind of rates and a little bit of hourly. But yeah, so I've recently just in the last couple of weeks just moved to going for retainers, or it's either a retainer or I'm going for like one-time projects like building a funnel that will lead to retainer, because a lot of the work I do is with these info products and such, which are more slightly more complex. And so obviously with those, it's difficult to just do like like a at the 2,000 a month retainer and then build the funnel from scratch, right? Because you have to really put in a lot of work into the funnel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've already landed 2 clients in the last last 2 weeks basically.
Hell yeah! Congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, and it's one of the clients pretty solid. Like they're doing like 40K a month in Facebook ad spend. So I'm really looking forward to improving my Facebook ad skills with that. And yeah, I feel definitely that in the next couple of weeks I want to land at least a couple more clients. And I'm also trying to be a lot more pickier, and my pricing is definitely improved. So I'm making sure, I'm doing things in a manner where once I start systemizing it and having somebody else help me out, like there's enough room for me to make a profit on that as well.
Yeah, I love that, man. I mean, sounds like your head is in the right place and you're taking all of the right steps. So I love seeing that for sure. Now, this is a question that I love asking because I know everyone watching absolutely loves this question, is what are you doing to get those clients? What strategies did you use to get these 2 clients you got last week, and what strategies are you doing to get the new clients, or to try and get new clients?
Okay, so I don't recommend this strategy to everybody just because this isn't exactly the most sustainable strategy or the best if you don't already have an existing kind of foothold in it there. But yeah, I basically am using Upwork right now, and I got very lucky with Upwork, where the first few clients I had, they paid me well, and I got some really good reputation on there. And yeah, my profile's just been built up. I'm like a top-rated freelancer. So
okay, there you go.
Yeah, essentially, if I were to start from scratch, obviously, I think it's probably better to go with cold outreach because you can get clients, probably higher paying clients faster. But just because I have this asset and I'm landing these higher, like more complex clients who are willing to pay more, it's working for me. I would suggest this if you're looking for just, if you're basically like a completely just starting out, you want to, maybe work on your marketing skills. Upwork is a decent place to just, get some experience. But there's lots of pros and cons. But if you're like a serious marketer, if you have trust in your skill sets, I will just skip it. Go to cold outreach or go to building your own funnel if you have the money. And I think that will just be probably a faster way to get it.
Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah. And I definitely think people watching should understand that sounds like you have a foot up over the majority of freelancers on Upwork. So that makes it, a place that is useful for you. Not everyone, even myself, if I went to Upwork right now and started a profile, I would still have to start from scratch and build up a reputation on there. But myself personally, I've hired freelancers and subs off of there and paid them a lot of money because their hourly rate was high and they had so many reviews. I trusted that they could do it. So yeah, I agree. There's for sure a market and I guess you could call it a strategy behind using Upwork, but it's not, like you said, for everyone. So appreciate you pointing that out.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I would add to that is really try to avoid hourly kind of work, because if you do the calculations, if you're decent, you're going to make more if you just do retainer / like project fees, because hourly rates are There's actually a good website I stumbled upon. I think it's called Jonathan Stark's like hourly billing is nuts. I recommend that to, just he has a free blog. Check it out. That's what kind of changed my mind about charging hourly and then moving to fixed. And then basically you and my buddy Ryan convinced me to go from fixed to trying to sell more monthly retainers and framing it as, hey, we're going to be working on this monthly retainer basis for, this basically ad management / funnel optimization.
Awesome, man. I'm glad I could be a good impression because, yeah, when it's probably 4 or 5 years ago, switched to getting paid monthly from clients, and I locked in like some really solid clients who I could deliver consistently for, like my business changed. That gave me the income and freedom and flexibility to spend time going and figuring out how to find other clients and, failing at that and then trying digital products and things like that. So absolutely, when you can get solid clients on retainer and that you're confident they're going to stay around, it's game changing.
100%.
So cool, man. One more question before we end this call. What strategies are you focused on for your clients right now? You're talking about Facebook mostly, but I guess aside from just the tactics, what is the basic strategy you're using to get customers for them? And I could, I know it's a vague question, but maybe you can focus in on your market, the people you're working with, what strategies are working best, what offers and things like that.
So I would say, Facebook and YouTube. So those are the two big ones in terms of basically, getting them results. And with Facebook, it's just like the standard stuff. You have to make sure the funnel is really set to convert. You can't just, throw something together. You have to really think about it. I work with more complex like info products. So there's usually a lot of retargeting. It's like funnels with like, lots of email marketing automation, lots of stages. Also, one thing that works really well for my clients that a lot of people don't do is video ads. I typically find that the cost per lead for video ads is usually like 30-40% lower than for image ads.
Wow. Yeah, and it's tough sometimes when your clients don't have those videos, so you have to get creative and use photos to make slideshows, but it's a good tip. Video is obviously dominating Facebook right now. YouTube is the second biggest search engine on the planet. So obviously an important thing to focus on. Well, awesome, Shash, man. I really appreciate your time. I don't want to take too much of it. I know people watching, they usually tune out around 15, 20 minutes. So I am glad that you were here. And one more question, actually, something I like to ask, and I haven't been as consistent at this, but as a member of the Laptop Empire Lab, super grateful to have you. What would you say to people who aren't a member and are considering joining? Why is it beneficial for them?
So, I think it's very beneficial because you're definitely like it's different to learn how to do Facebook advertising or learn how to do, paid traffic. And it's different to do that as an agency because as an agency, you go, you have these other issues that you're dealing with, like how do you build clients? How do you make sure you find clients that are going to pay you well, but at the same time, you can get them amazing results for? So when I basically started with the stuff, I didn't really have that information. With SEO, it was very simple because there was this whole online world of people doing SEO. And, there was so much advice out there that, okay, this is what you do. You put them on a retainer for 6 months and you rank them and they're happy, you're happy. But with Facebook ads, it was just like, I had a misconception. I used to think that, wow, like all these people who do Facebook ads for local businesses, they must not be, making that much. And that was because of a misconception of, what's going on in the market. And because I was mostly working with the info product space, right? So it's like a different kind of ball game. So I wasn't aware of like the numbers involved. So if you're starting an agency, you need to be inside this group because you can actually get like the hard truth on, what's actually working. You also get to see really cool like offers and such. Like I've seen like a few of your like landing pages or a few of your, kind of ad campaigns that have just been doing really well. So just get in there and you'll probably scale your agency like 3 times faster or something.
That is awesome, man. Thank you so much for the kind endorsement. And again, thank you so much for your time. Laptop Empire Builders, I appreciate you all tuning in, and we will talk very, very soon. Shash, thanks again, man.
No worries. I had a great time.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon.